just came back from my huge, humongous shit I took. Bro, I was about to explode my ass. Like, it was actually bursting because I drank a monster. And so I had like, I have problem with caffeine. So yeah, I drank a monster and my ass exploded horrendously. So I kind of had to rush the bathroom, you know. I could not resist. Yes, could not resist. What can we do now? What can we do now? Let me think. Let me think. We can play Genshin. No, fuck off. I don't want to play Genshin now. We have to wait, my friend, for the challenge of the century to see who's better at in League of Legends. 1v1 laning with more champions. We can watch some YouTube video. For now, what do you think? I think that may be a good idea, so yeah, why not? Oh, okay, chat, if you say so. Let's go. By the way, I saw something really interesting right now that popped on my screen instantly as I opened. And I'm talking about this. This is so cute, I already saw this one, this is so cute. This Pokemon Hero. Is this like the Korean guy? It's so funny, man, I swear. So fucking funny. His videos eats hairs, I don't know, the videos are so fucking funny though. Blue Protocol reveal trailer, the Game Awards, 3 months ago. Yeah, no, we already saw that. Let's see what else do we have. I remember the truth of what she did, don't care. So the 40-year long dungeon and dragon game obsessed. Bro, I'm fucking curious now. Blender, black and pink girl time lapse. I'm kind of interested in this because I'm kind of learning Blender, you know, to make things. Shy Lily edit, cool for you. I'm not really that interested. Full AP Zoe, why? Because you usually build her AD. Spent 1 year in making this. I love these things. Like, they put so much effort in the things they do. I'm so curious. Truth or Dare. I like this one as well because there's obviously some effort in this. Oh my god, her face was so funny. Let me check. Let me check. I'm a fucking weeb, guys. I cannot do that. We're rich. Is this Apex? No, that's the Dwarf Mine thing. This looks like a fun game, to be honest. I'd play that. You won't believe how Genshin Impact goes in 4K with ray tracing. Man, we have to watch that. Reign of the Seven Spellblades official trailer. Let's watch this as well because we're weebs. We're fucking weebs and we are cringe, so we have to watch that. Raiden Shogun in VR chat, we don't care. Every time, no. Crafting my own pets. Crafting for my pets. 5 years ago. Damn. That's an old ass video. Africa, protecting Africa while colonizing it myself in Victoria 3. I don't know what game it is. Genshin player honest review of Honker Star Rail. I don't care. You could be like the fucking Tetris player. You'd have the same importance to me as the Genshin player, so I don't know why you had put it in the title, you know. Like, what the fuck, you think you're better than them just because you play Genshin, or is that what? Explain. Let's just confirm official updates. Let's just worth. Let's check real quick. Okay, let's see. What do we have? So yeah, we have the classic attack percentage. Okay. Attack speed. Then we have the buffed one. Yeah. You could go faster than that, probably. Go faster than 137. Because you can put Yunjin as well in your team. Plus Mika, but Mika is let's see in a second what Mika does. So if use the kills, then swap to this guy, and use an ability, and then it's buffed. That's good. Let me see the comparison. So much better. 137. Imagine putting Yunjin as well. You could honestly just reach the 30 stacks in one hit. You could honestly reach the 30 stacks in one hit. Tax bound 25%. God damn, that's huge. I just wanted to see if this. Yeah, it's the
이
Korean guy.
학교의 여학생을 전부 내
This guy
이자
is so
친구로
fucking funny, I swear
만들어줄게.
to God.
오늘 가짜로
Like, let's see if I win. Okay, if there's one of my favorites. A Curious Elf is kinda good. Let's see another one. This one is one of my favorites so far. Amazing, actually uber well done. Is that the... Yes, this is so fun as well, guys. I need to show you this. Like, this channel is so fucking good. Let me subscribe. He deserves more. He or she deserves more. Like, he's so or she funny. Videos are so fucking funny, man. It's so good. Even the dub, it's so good. And the subtle jokes around everything.
배고파.
야, 씨, 빨랑빨랑 안 옮기냐? 니들 같은 고아 놈들 써주는 데가 여기 말고 또 있을 것 같아? 열심히 좀 하자, 어?
No, she fell. Poor little lady.
이런 거지 새끼가 눈을 어디다 두고 다니는 거야?
죄송합니다. 실수로.
아이씨, 뭔 소리?
뭐야? 네가 보호자야? 너 이 새끼 저분이 입고 있는 게 얼마짜리 옷인 줄 알아?
몰라요. 저랑 관련 없는 애 새끼예요. 그냥 여기 널려있는 고아라니까요.
일단 진정하고. 꼬마야, 부모님이 안 계시니?
그게 그분 다 안 계시는데.
아, 그래? 그럼 어쩌다. 아무리 하층민 꼬맹이라고 해도 손해를 제대로 배상하지 못하면 노예가 된다는 법은 알고 있겠지.
Man, I love how he looks like an ugly bastard and everything.
잘못했어요. 제발 살려주세요.
This is actually so
걱정
good.
마. 죽이지는 않으니까. 대신 앞으로 지옥 같은 나날이 기다리고 있겠지만. 그나저나 아무리 노예라지만 너무 꼬질꼬질하군. 김 실장.
예.
얘 좀 씻기고 옷 좀 갈아입힌 뒤 나한테 데려와. 그 후 내가 아주 철저히 교육시켜 줄 테니까.
알겠습니다. 자, 따라와. 기대하는 게 좋을 거다 꼬마.
Like, this is this is exactly the precise phrase that describes every single one of this guy's video. Like, this is so good. Like, you never see what's coming. Like, in this, you could clearly see like every single person that came from an hentai is like, man, this is actually gonna be like an ugly bastard thing. Like, if you don't know the channel, you're gonna be like, this is obviously ugly bastard. Man.
야, 우리 어르신은 아주 지독하신 분이거든. 그냥 운이 닿았다 생각하는 게 좋을 거야.
싫어. 나 이제 어떻게 되는 거야? 깨끗하게 되었다.
이제야 좀 볼만해졌군.
감사합니다. 이런 옷은 처음 입어봐요.
착각하지 마라. 내 집에서 무더기를 입고 돌아다니면 보기 흉하니 갈아입힌 것일 뿐. 자, 그럼 이제 시작해 볼까? 노예 근로 계약서다. 여기 체크된 것 읽어보고 사인해라.
저 사인이 없는데.
시장으로 해도 상관없다.
이러면 되나요?
And already here you're gonna be like, huh?
멍청한 년! 이런 인권 따윈 개나 줘버린 계약서를 제대로 읽어보지도 않고 덥석 지장을 찍다니!
네? 설마
그래! 넌 이제 이 집에서 주 7일 중 4일 동안 가사 노동을 해야 한다. 즉, 너는 여기 있는 동안 쉴 수 있는 날이 절반도 안 된다는 소리지.
그럴 수...
게다가 연차는 1년에 겨우 30일밖에 나오지 않는다. 잊지 못할 사정으로 쉬어야 해도 한 달에 3번도 못 쓰는 양이라고.
와, 어떡해. 큰일 났다.
Bro, this is better
이제야
than
자신의 절망스러운
Moscow
상황을 깨달았나 보군.
now, what the fuck?
하지만 후회하긴 이미 늦었다고.
주인, 식사 준비됐습니다.
벌써 시간이 이렇게 됐군.
I
너도
swear,
따라와라.
I wish
아무리 노예라도
every
식사는
single work
제공되니까.
boss was like
네.
this.
어쩌면 생각했던 것처럼 나쁜 곳은 아닐지도. 저 정도로 많이 있으면 남는 것 정도는 먹을 수 있지 않을까?
많이 먹어라.
그럼 그렇지. 노예 주제에 무슨 말도 안 되는 상상.
야, 왜? 네가 개밥을 왜 먹어?
네?
하여튼 이래서 하층민들이라니. 기본적인 테이블 매너도 모르는 건가? 에?
네? 그치만 같이요?
노예가 영양실조로 쓰러져서 일을 못하게 되면 고스란히 내 손해가 돼버리거든. 자, 어서 먹어라.
Bro, it's so good. Kinda sad now. Guys, it's so sad, guys. Such a sad. Now it's so good again.
이게 어디 어르신이 식사하시는데 버릇없게.
내버려둬라. 앞으로의 노예 생활을 생각하니 두려워서 견딜 수 없나 보군. 지금이라도 실컷 울어놓아라.
Such a terrible future. Working 4 days full paid. With more vacation than I ever had. And I ever have. And I have. And there's no part 2. Huh? I saw the part 2 on TikTok that she was like working and all, and then he was like, "What? You can't read?" And they sent her. to
Remember
school.
that game of D&D you started when you were 11? What if it never stopped?
My name is Robert Wardoff. I'm a history professor at the University of Western Ontario. I am a dungeon master for a campaign that has been going on for 40 years.
What began in
40
secret
years.
with a few friends has turned into a game that takes up much of Robert's life and most of his house. Robert has around 30,000 hand-painted figurines,
What the
countless
fuck?
custom-made pieces of terrain,
This is so
and
cool.
dozens of devoted players taking part in his campaign.
If you're going to keep a game going for 40 years, it's going to have to be a good game. If you're going to have people who are going to want to play and are going to want to fly in, you're going to have to offer a product that is going to be better than all the other alternatives that are out there. I can certainly say with
I bet
confidence
this
that this
guy-
is the best Dungeons and Dragons.
This guy is the best dungeon master you could ever wish for. Like he has to be. He like comes up with the best stories and everything. Like he's a professor at the University of History, so like that's obviously something that you. Like, but this has to be the best fucking dungeon master ever.
Dragons game in the
cool.
world.
Like look at all this effort that he puts in. It's so cool, man. It's so fucking cool.
So if I'm playing for 10 hours a week at 52
amount of
weeks
effort
in a
is
year, that means I'm
insane.
doing that times 40. That would be 20,800 hours.
How many minutes is that?
So if I figured that out in minutes, that would end up being 1.24 million minutes,
My
I think.
God.
As you crest the ridge, there seems to be quite a commotion. You estimate it could be as many as 24 or so goblins. You surprise them as much as they have surprised you. I need a surprise roll.
That's really just the start. Almost every major decision in Robert's life is designed to keep the game going.
When I was buying a house, the most important part for me was getting a gaming space that I could use. My entire basement
Man,
is my
I
gaming
get the people that he's playing with are basically brothers to him. I
Area.
swear.
If he doesn't slow
They
down,
stayed
he's gonna need a bigger
40
house.
40 years together. 40
I have a lot of
is
things.
so much.
I've got orcs, I've got elves, I've got dwarves, I've got
So
all the
good.
basic things that you'd expect, but I also have very distinct and unique figs. I have vampires, I have undead, I have zombies, I have werewolves, beholders,
And
Tiamat,
it's so
the
cool.
mother of all dragons, all the big demonic lords from the Demogorgon. But also heroes. So all the great kings and queens of countries, the high-level wizards, all of these things. My goal is to have everything.
You
But what's
can
the point
get
of having
better at
so many
painting, but
figurines
who
if you don't
cares?
have any amazing terrain to place them on? Robert has no shortage in that department either.
I need to be able to adapt to wherever the party's going to go. That means that I need to have my green terrains. I need to have mountain terrain. I need to have all
but
of my
that's
winter
gonna be
terrain,
like
my arid
the
desert terrains,
same,
my water terrains.
over and
If they're
over.
going to go into
See,
a town,
That's why I wish they do something like a Dungeons and Dragons in VR, because in VR you could create a terrain over and over and over and over again and again and again and again and again, and never like occur in the fact that you don't have space to put these presets, because you're gonna end up with not having space for these presets at some point. You can create more always new, but you have two options: break the old one, modify the old one, or throw them away. You do not have infinite storage, that's the problem. But in VR, if you like could do this in VR, one, it would be really fucking immersive. Even the same style, but you can see that. I see many people would say, man, you need the imagination to learn. You still need the imagination to play the game in VR. It's like there though. It's even more entertaining. You can keep people like, whoa, whoa. And then you modify the terrain every time. You can like do the lava things that actually looks like lava is moving and everything. Yeah, I wish they work on some D&D shit in the future.
town. Now
Like, I want a game for VR. I don't know if they've done it as well already, but I want a game that like you with your hands can create city. Like you do a certain position with the hands, and then you go up, and then you create like a skyscraper. Yeah? You know, you do a circle with your hand at a certain level, while you have a claw hand, and you create a school or something. That'd be so cool. And this way, you as well could create terrains really easily. Like you zoom out the terrain, and then you start doing things like you put the thumb and the pointer finger together, and you go up and you create a tree. Like shits like that. That's so easy to do, and yet it'd be so cool.
I need a town. Okay, are they in a Roman town? Are they in an Anglo-Saxon town? Are they in an African town? Is it high medieval? Is it low medieval? So now I'm trying to be able to put out a village or a town for every one of these historical settings. They're figuring actually the demon's back. They don't know where he is. They're desperately trying to find him, and he's definitely up to no good.
While fantasy role-playing and nerd culture are often celebrated today, Robert's campaign started during a time when people felt like they needed to play in secret.
In the
Yeah.
80s and 90s, it was certainly more difficult to try to talk about or explain the game to people.
Yeah.
I grew up in a very small town, and it was
They were all like, man, what the fuck are you saying? Are you crazy? Are you insane? Role playing? Are you a fucking kid?
quite a conservative
I'll do
town.
that.
And so the town inevitably found out that we were playing, and they didn't know what the heck we were doing. And Dungeons and Dragons had very bad press at the time.
Tonight we begin with a story about make-believe adventure and real-life violence, and what some critics fear is a connection between the two in a game called Dungeons and Dragons.
A movie came
Yeah,
out while we
when
were
the
playing
media
called
started
Mazes and
to-
Monsters. And it's a story of how they play this game and then they try to act it out in real life, and basically bad things certainly happen.
Can you tell me of the giant dragon? On my travels here, I heard him.
What's now called the Satanic Panic was going on at the time.
Yeah.
Why does my son want to play this game all the time? Why is he obsessed about it? What are you doing to
Yeah,
him? Are you
satanic shit. Yeah.
Yup, over the entire 2022 and the past few
go with the
months,
next.
I've been working with a group of talented mod developers to do just one thing: create the most ambitious RPG mod pack that we can think
Ooh,
of. Around 6
love
months
that.
ago, I posted this video
I may
to
wanna play
showcase
this
our
one.
progress, and you guys seem to really like it. I told you guys that it will be ready in 2 months' time, and Anyway, after months and months of grinding, it's finally gone public. Now, instead of explaining everything like I usually do, let me show you a quick trailer.
Okay, let's go with the trailer because we wanna play that. We may wanna play this. I don't know if your PC is gonna be like, yeah, fine, or it's gonna be like, no man, fuck you, and kill itself. As soon as I start, oh man, the explore. Uniquest system. We have the guild master as well. Over 100 side quests. Souls-like combat. I don't care about the Souls-like combat, but whatever. That may be something interesting to add it again. More mobs. Fight the notorious Yeti. Witch. Golem. Goblin something. The Reborn. Oh, that's a cool ass server. I have to save this man. Do yourself. That's a fuck ton of armor. Legendary buttons. This actually is pretty good and looks pretty good. Yeah, I mean, we may want to play that in the future. Dronecraft. No, Dawncraft. Down.
Now before you click out of this video, I've also made a lit version for players with less powerful PC, but the difference are not likely to be too big, since a lot of the quests depend on other mods. We still have many plans for the mod pack, such as adding new dragons, mini bosses and weapons. And so our Patreon is still open. You'll be able to get custom armor cosmetics, emotes,
That's cool if you want to
along with
create a
early
server.
access to the updates that I'll make in the future. At the time that I'm recording this video, I've just made 2 new weapons with fully animated weapon arts for our next early release. There are a few more perks, but the most important thing is you'll be supporting us to make more contents for the mod pack or future projects like this. To be frank, if it wasn't for our Patreon supporters, this mod pack wouldn't be in the stage that it is in now. I would also like to give a special thanks to one of our patron, Nitsu, for making the music for this trailer and also the boss fights. Anyway,
Truth or dare? Truth. How many hours have you slept this week?
Look, this face is so well done, man. I like the screenshot. And this, bro, the side eye.
Dare. Go to sleep! I don't like this game.
Me neither. Let's see Genshin in 4K. RTX on ray tracing of the things. For now, it kind of looks the same. Shit. Yeah, a little better. This shit is so good, man. Like, already Genshin is looks really fucking fine. Mad fine. But this is so good. But that may be kinda annoying as the game and everything proceeds. And even if you don't have the best PC, this may just explode. I don't think you can even do this. Do this with a bad PC anyway, so whatever. Hoo-ha. Okay, new anime trailer, let's see. Blood. I just wanna see the graphic and all. Okay, the drawings looks... Oh, it's not fucking CGI, let's go. Is this gonna be like just one? Okay, the MC looks kinda... MC and side characters looks kind of bland to me for now. Like they're all the same, not really original. But we have faces in the background, so they at
人権を認められ
least
た存
tried
在以
to
外
do
は
some.
魔法使いにとって全て資源でしかない。
読書の邪魔だ。
Ah,
中身方は
the cliche in my eyes. Ah, the cliche.
の証。
The amount of cliche
力はその
I'm
まま
seeing in
ゆ
just
るりとな
she's gonna be like a samurai or shit.
あれよ。
なぜあんなにもその少女に目を惹かれたのだろう。
See. My god, there's some cliche shit in here, but other than that, the graphic and all looks
心のどこかで感じていたのかもしれない。人が時に運命と呼ぶような予感じみた何かを。
okay. This may be good. We will see. We will see. I don't know for now. I honestly can't tell for now.
All right, so welcome back to Sanctuary.
Okay,
yes,
let's go.
We've got some official new updates straight from the Diablo 4 dev team. So who wants to see more expanded Butcher type enemies in Diablo 4? Well, the dev team had some very cool teases about that today, as well as how the Sorcerer, Druid, and other classes will be evolving past the beta cap. And we got a very detailed response about the biggest worries from the beta, which include the lackluster dungeon design and how dungeons will differ in the full game. And later in the video, we'll discuss why couch co-op isn't on PC, but the question is, will it ever come to PC? Also, smack that like button to buff my barbarian. And check out the pinned comments for my PS5, Xbox Series X, and Nintendo Switch giveaway for my subscribers, so check that out. All right, time to get into the details. The new interview with Diablo General Manager Rod Ferguson and Diablo 4's Game Director Joe Shelley. So here is the first question. It says this: one other bit of feedback I saw, and this came from a few people, was they're not being overly enamored with the dungeon design. The gist seemed to be that dungeons were too big and involved backtracking to grab keys and unlock doors and so on. Is this something you've seen, and are you taking a look at it? Now, let's get into the actual response from Joe Shelley, first of all, who goes on to say this: we have seen it, yeah, there's a few elements there. There's some players who we added the ability to teleport out of dungeons via the UI, and some players don't realize that exists. But certainly, there are cases within the dungeon where you're going to get a key and then you're going somewhere else. Yeah, you know, what I'm curious about is why there was no tutorial structure telling you and indicating that, hey, you can quickly exit the dungeon, if you guys don't know this, by opening up the map, going to the entrance location on your map, clicking on it, and then you can actually just instantly transport out of the dungeon. That would have been nice to know at the beginning, so they definitely need a tutorial key for that.
To the city
Also,
again.
we have this right here, but when you think about dungeons overall, there are well over 100 dungeons in the game, and in the beta, of course, you're only seeing, the dungeons that exist in the Fractured Peaks region, which is about 20% of the overworld. One of the design decisions we made is we wanted the dungeons, an individual dungeon, to have certain properties about it that were consistent and tied to that dungeon and that place in the world. So that when you go into a dungeon, it's not drawing out of a raffle of all the elements. There are some things that are consistent. And he's talking about, of course, each region looking unique.
Yeah.
However, the problem is,
Makes sense.
from the complaints that I'm seeing, despite the fact that we're in Fractured Peak, although it has a very specific look to it, tone to Fractured Peaks, it's the actual layout that is redundant and the problem, and the backtracking that is the issue. Furthermore, we have this right here, and the way that we want players to approach that as they're leveling up is to look at it as, I want to do each of these different dungeons, and that's incentivized through things like the Codex of Power and the Renown system that give you a sort of checklist for all the dungeons you can do. And then when you get into the end game, after you've completed the campaign and you get access to the Nightmare Dungeon system, we have the sigils that modify dungeons in really cool ways with buffs and nerfs, and those dramatically modify the dungeon. But because the dungeons are designed with some properties to start with, you can get a sigil for a dungeon and have some context, for what that means. It's not just a random name that can be anything. Okay, I get it. You know, it's
No,
gonna be
never mind.
cool that the enemies will change up your.
You know what though? Yeah, I'm gonna say in the first region, I expected some more like frost dungeon and all, but all I've seen for now are like spiders and all I've seen at least during the beta were spiders and like vampires shit. I don't know why, but the whole Diablo 4 for now is giving me like vampire something vibes of the 1800. Yeah, something like that.
Dependent on the sigil that you get. And of course, it would mutate the boss, I suppose you would say. But again, it would be neat if those sigils would actually change the layout of the dungeon itself and evolve the layout or randomize in some weird way. They are not giving any indication that the sigil actually does that. So again, they're not really responding as to the exact concern that we have. And Ron Ferguson says this: people are seeing dungeons at the baseline level. It'll be interesting the feedback once people get to experience what it means to go through sigils and get to see now there's more monsters, now they have a different ability, now you're being debuffed this way and they're being buffed that way, and it's going to feel like a much different experience, which again, that sounds neat.
I feel
but yeah.
like it's gonna go like Diablo 3 Rifts, and you're gonna get bored at some point. You're gonna do like 10 of them in a day and then get so bored that you just
I want to hear
the shit
about
out
the
of
actual
your
layout,
ass.
and I want to hear a solution as to backtracking through these dungeons. So this is very much, in my opinion, a non-answer to the problems and concerns that we have from the beta. Now we have this right here. I've seen
close
passes
balancing, I don't really
and then
care.
for us, some people want more. Get the blades to go through as many.
They'll have time to balance the classes and everything. New build shall start encounter, I don't care. Queuing in the final game. Couch co-op. I don't know what couch co-op is.
Next, so check this out right here. It goes on to say this: it makes me wonder what people's expectations should be about queuing when the game comes out. Is there an expectation that queues will be a thing we have to deal with to some degree?
Possible.
Great question, and the response is this one right here. Of course, the ideal is that there are no queues. That is where we want to be. Basically, what we're having today in the beta is what we'd like to have for launch. You go in, there's no queue, you go. And you know, one way to actually stop worrying about this is to have a button that says offline play. I still think that should be an option. I just don't get it, because even though there are no queues, the one thing that I have experienced
You know,
is
but
lag.
there's a problem with the... Yeah, the lag was fucking terrible. I hated that. But yeah, the offline play button cannot be done for a simple, very, very, very simple reason. They'd have to introduce a check system inside the game itself that every time something happens, it's marked on like this file, and as soon as you go online again, you upload everything. So what's the problem? One, they could upload this as soon as you open the Blizzard client, or upload that while you play and the Blizzard client is in the background, and that's an option. Problem 2, option 2, you upload everything as soon as you go online on Diablo 4. What's the problem? If a guy plays his entire life, like 3 years, offline, and has to come online at some point, and he comes online, he's gonna load some huge shit on the server, because he's gonna have so much shit going on, and the problem is he may hack as well something on the files, because if they discover the file and go there and change everything, you may hack the file. And that would not be fair. That's the only reason you cannot do this. And they haven't done that in Diablo 3 as well. In Diablo 2 you could go offline, absolutely. You could play from like no internet as well, but in Diablo 3 you could not. I think so. But you cannot do the offline thing now. There are too many people good with PC, and they could just get in the files and corrupt everything and do shit. Oh, hey there, man, welcome back. Yeah, so that's why the offline mode could be bad. I can see the offline, like if it's like Spotify, but still, Spotify does the same exact things. It downloads a amount of files on your phone, so you can play that when you do not have the internet, and that same would go as opposite. So you download something on your PC, and as soon as you go online, it uploads on the server. By the way, for the 1v1.